Slide. Leave it, leave it, leave it. Alina, move. Alina, move.
Go there, Daddy.
Climb up.
So I can climb.
Wow, all the ice came off, huh?
This is hard. I need to get off right now. Now let me fly.
Hey folks, thanks for joining back. I hope you've seen the previous video where I showed how I added a new A-frame to an existing playground structure. In this video, what I'm going to show is how I built the deck foundation, and on top of that, the next videos are going to talk about the finishing of that and the stairs and the slide and the extension and everything else. So stay tuned. So this is a very important video because this foundation is the basis for everything else that's going to be built. So I'd really appreciate it if you can look at this video, like it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. So for the deck design, what I did was initially place the slide at about 5-foot deck height and saw where it would end up, right? So as you're seeing here, I just put 2 pieces of screws on each of those legs and put a level and then kept the slide there. Now if you're looking at this is going to be a little bit difficult because when the kids walk up the structure, the deck is going to have very little height at the top above the slide, so they can easily hit their head against the top beam. So I need to find a little bit more creative way to do this so that they have enough clearance above their heads when they get onto the deck, and at the same time they are able to slide from a larger height. So that's the option I'm evaluating here, and that's the basis on which the deck will be done. So this is what I'm going to be doing. What I would like is to have the slide deck at a 36-inch height or 3 feet from the floor. So if you're looking at the marking there for 36 inches, it shows you the slide deck foundation would be at 36 inches. And above that, on the left-hand side, you're seeing 3 layers, right? Those are basically 3 steps that I want to construct. Each of them at 38 inches width, 27 inches width, 16 inches width, but with 2x6s, which are 5.5 inches in height. So overall, I would get an extra 18 inches there if I add the deck board of 1.5 inch as well. So totally, I would be getting a 54 inches from the floor to the top. Now the good thing about this is that if you're looking on the right hand side, it gives a lot of clearance between the deck top and the top of the A-frame, the top beam. Yeah, that'll help the kids actually stand there and play without getting their heads hit on the top of the frame, while at the same time give them the height that they need to slide down from about a 5 feet height. So this is a structure that I'm planning to build where you would have a ladder through which they can step up onto the deck, walk there a little bit, and then climb up on the stairs and then slide from the top. So what I'm doing first is marking 3 feet from the ground and putting a screw in there on both the sides, both the legs. The reason for this is because I'm working as one person, so I need to support these planks. They are fairly heavy. So as you see here, I put the plank there and I've checked the level, right? And it's not exactly level, so I took it out and adjusted the screw and I put it back there and measuring the level to see if it's level all over from the front to the back. Now that I'm happy that it's level, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 screw each on each of those sides, anchoring into the legs just to hold it in place. One thing I want to be clear here is when I said I put in a screw to support this beam, I did it at 7 inches down from 3 feet to accommodate the 5.5 inches of the 2x6 and 1.5 inches of the deck board. So for the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting in a horizontal piece exactly resting against the base of the other piece that I put in there. So what I did initially for that was I put in the piece, marked 5.5 inches, and I'm putting 2 screws on 2 ends, as I said before, to support it. And then I'm putting the 2x6 over there and measuring the level to see if everything is fine. What this is going to do is it's going to hold up or act as a support to the other piece that you're seeing here, right?
Now I'm doing the same thing on the back as well. I'm marking, as you're seeing, 5.5 inches from the base of that 2x6, putting two screws on two legs, and I'm again going to place this board over there and see if it's level, right? So on the front and the back, it's going to be supported. So again, I'm leveling it and seeing if everything is fine. It seems to be okay. Now I'm marking where exactly I want to cut it, because as you see, it's a 8 feet board. So I just want to cut it to size and then put it there. And now you're seeing that I'm putting the screws in and then marking the level again and seeing if everything is fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting screws, about 5 screws on each side, because I wanted to hold about, I'm assuming each screw would hold 100 pounds, so about 500 pounds on each side. So then I'm putting the other 2x6s on top of the support and taking them out. And now I'm again anchoring these using those 5 screws that I talked about. At least the guidance I've been given is each screw can hold about 100 pounds. So 500 each. So 500 multiplied by 4, so about 2000 pounds of support. Now I'm going to measure diagonal to diagonal. The purpose of this is to make sure that the deck is completely at 90 degrees to each other, all the surfaces, so that diagonal to diagonal and front to back needs to measure exactly the same. So as you're seeing here, I'm doing that. So the principle I'm going to be using here is called a 3-4-5 principle. In this, what it says is that on a right triangle, if two of those sides are 3 and 4, the hypotenuse has to be 5. So you could use any multiple of this. So I'm going to use the same concept to ensure that the rectangle is completely a rectangle, right? So you're seeing here that I put the 2 screws over here on 2 of those sides, and I'm putting the string over there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be measuring that with the tape. So I've taken 3 foot on one side, 4 foot on one side, and I'm seeing if the hypotenuse is 5. So if it is not 5, then that means that I'll have to make some adjustment, which you see is what I'm doing. I'm moving those boards to the top a little bit and making those adjustments, and again measuring the diagonal to diagonal. And I would keep making them until I'm completely satisfied that the 3-4-5 rule is is satisfied, right? So I'm going to use a 3-4-5 rule on both the sides. You're seeing one side there. I would do the same thing on the other side as well, just to make sure that all the surfaces are at right angle to each other. That would help me ensure that the deck has an exact measurement, diagonal to diagonal and front to back, right? So I'm making the adjustments as you're seeing here. Then I'm measuring again, front to back and diagonal to diagonal. Now I'm satisfied with that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm marking the center of that whole structure, and I'm going to put another piece of 2x6 there, which is going to act as another joist. So these 3 pieces running front to back are the joists that are going to be supporting the whole deck at the top, right? So I'm now screwing it into the centerpiece. And after this, I'm going to again check if anything has moved or not. I'm going to use the tape, again the 3-4-5 rule, just to see that nothing has shifted while I did that. And when I'm completely satisfied, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be probably holding these boards together, and you'll see that shortly. First thing I'm doing is measuring to make sure that nothing has shifted. Now I'm placing a 2x4 piece, as you're seeing, running it diagonally there, because what I want to do is I want to hold everything together as I finish my construction, right? I don't want anything shifting, because I've made extremely sure that everything is aligned and everything is at right angle to each other. So I don't want it to move. So I'm just putting this 2x4 to hold everything in place. And then again taking a measurement just to make sure that nothing is shifted. Diagonal to diagonal and front to back. And what I'm seeing here, as you're seeing, is A and B. Diagonal to diagonal is measuring 109 7/8 inches. And the front to back is measuring 98 7/8 inches. So overall, I've got a completely good rectangle that will act as the support for all the construction that's going to happen on the top. Now, if you see the picture here, the way that the deck foundation rests is a little bit offset, a little bit shifted towards the left when you're seeing how it relates to the connection that runs between the two A-frames. And that's fine, because what I've done is ensure that the deck is completely rectangle, even though the A-frames may be slightly out of alignment with each other. So at least the deck is completely a rectangle to support everything that comes on top. Now what I've done is, if you're looking at the circled pieces here, I've added about 11 inches of 2x4, which connects the deck foundation to the two horizontals that are running there, so that everything stays together. I've done the same thing in the front and the back and across all the three joists, so that everything is flush and mounted and stable. Now this shows the completed deck foundation, the side view, followed by the front view, which shows that it's been completed. And what I'm going to do on top of this is going to then build the deck boards and the stairs and the deck extension and the slide. So that brings us to the end of the deck construction. So hopefully this video was useful. So the next steps are going to be the installation of the deck boards, and then the stairs, and then the railings and the deck extension. So stay tuned to watch the next few videos on how I'm taking this forward to the construction of the full deck with the slide. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching.